I just want to live in your presence. Well, happy Monday. Come on in. Today's devotion brought to us. You're listening to the sounds of I just want to live in your presence. This is yours. Come on in. We're talking about pruning, being a part of your purpose. Come on in, share. Yes. Can you say that this Monday? Lord, I just want to live in your presence. We're going to talk about the art of letting go. Come on in. Let somebody know. Yeah, it wasn't planned, but yes, it was planned. You're listening to the sounds of I Just Want You. I Just Want You. Monday, we're talking about the art of letting go. Pruning is part of your purpose. Nobody else but you, Jesus. Ooh, I just want you, Lord. Yes. Nobody but you, Lord. Nobody else, Lord. Nobody else. Well, it's a great day and the beginning of a week. And as I rose up this morning, it was just a burning word in my spirit, and I just want to share that with you. And that is the art of letting go. You've heard me talk a lot about getting out of your own way, letting go and let God. Well, there is an art to it. And we have to recognize during these strategic times that we have to have some endings in order to have some great beginnings. And as I was thinking about that, I was actually inspired by a show that I was watching. And as I was watching the show, the host, she didn't speak very much English. She came from Japan, but she's considered one of the foremost authorities in helping you organize your space and getting things tidy. And as I was looking and listening, because I am one who loves to learn. And as I was listening to some of the techniques that she was sharing, I got out my pen and paper because I thought, I'm going to learn something today. And one of the things that I took away from this particular broadcast was this. She said, look through your closet, and I'm going to go somewhere with this, and it's going to be beyond your closet. But she said, look through your closet, and you'll pull each piece, and you'll ask yourself, does this piece still bring me joy? Whether it's the blouse, the shirt, pair of pants, a dress, even your shoes. And you'll ask yourself, does it still bring me joy? And so it's a unique way of evaluating whether you would keep it or let it go. And so as she was working with this particular couple, and they would pick up a piece and she'd look at it and she'd feel it. And she said, you know, the joy is over. And then she'd lay it aside. And the host would tell her this. And I thought this was particularly unique. She would say, thank you, because there was a time that it did bring you joy. And now the season is up. So I want to talk to you about the things in your life that no longer bring you joy, but you're holding on to them. They no longer bring you peace, but you're holding on to them. What are those things? And I want to talk about those things and give you just a little bit of guideline, because I have realized in my journey that if we truly are going to let go and let God, there are things that we must learn to prune, even our relationships. So when we are asking the question, does it still bring me joy? Now, let me just put a caveat here so you don't go and say, Sandra Steen said, you no longer bring me joy, so I can let you go. And that's your husband or that's your wife, okay? I'm not saying that because there may be elements in the relationship that no longer bring you joy, but you keep doing it. Why are you all still arguing about minutia, about minor things? Does it bring you joy? Why do you continue to do it? Now, I'm going to ask you to evaluate a couple of things, and there are some relationships. Even family members can hold their membership with you, but the meaning changes. Still love them, they're still blood, but the meaning has changed. And so you have to be able to let go and let God. Relationships where you can no longer nurture them, people that you have tried, you've been trying to save them from themselves. They're not teachable, they're not coachable, and you still keep on keeping on. You still putting effort and energy into something that's not working. Let go and let God. You can't save people from themselves. Let go. Turn them over to God. Be prayerful, be loving, but let go. I'm going to even encourage you now. I am an entrepreneur of 20 years, and I have lived by this particular mantra that I don't do business with people that I could never make happy. How many clients are you holding on to that you could never make happy? And you don't have the bandwidth to give them what they need. Let go and let God. Perhaps you're holding on to strategies that you could never execute. It's beyond your capacity. It's beyond your bandwidth. Now, I'm not trying to put any type of shower on the dream, but there are times when we just have to let go. It may be even in the season. Maybe that strategy is for another season and you're trying to implement in the wrong season. Do you have a partner? Wow. Where the season has ended. Let go and let God. Again, I'm not encouraging anybody to let go a marriage situation. But I'm saying that you have formed alliances and relationships, and you know in your heart of hearts that it's time to let go and let God. You keep trying to make that thing work. And God says, give it to me. Years ago, I started a cookie company, and I remember thinking, wow, this is so different from anything I've done. A little cookie. What am I doing? Because here I was traveling and speaking, and I was in corporate America, and now I'm doing a cookie. Really? But when I got into this cookie business, I remember saying this: I'm gonna just take this little cookie and I'm gonna put it into the hands of God and see what He might do with it. Little did I know, when I let go of my expectations. Now, I was still working a strategy, but I let go of my expectations and I said, God, what do you want to do with this little cookie? The next thing that I knew, that little cookie was in the hands of a general in the Air Force who said, Miss Steen, we want to take this cookie to the front lines on Afghanistan so that our young soldiers can get a fragrance from home. We want you baking those cookies on the front line. And when the soldiers come, they'll think about home, and your cookies are so delicious and nutritious. we think that that'll be a wonderful idea. Let go and let God. The next thing I knew, that little cookie was in all Kroger's. The next thing I knew, that cookie was in HEB. Let go and let God. You know, it's like the little boy who had a loaf of bread and 5 fish, right? It was 5 fish. I hope I got my numbers right. You remember the story. But what the real essence of what I'm trying to remember here is that that little boy took what looked little in his sight and he let it go and put it into the hands of God. What's so little in front of you that if you'll place it in the hands of God, it could feed the multitude? It could feed so many more than what you're trying to do with just effort. Now, we need plan and we need work and we need strategy. But what we don't need is to control. Let go and let God. Perhaps there's stuff even in your closets, in your home. Now, that seems really practical, but yet it has a spiritual connotation to it. You know, I went through the process of cleaning out my closets and I started blessing people who were so excited to have what was just sitting there in my closet. You have to let go. And I start doing that same technique. What brings me joy? Because some things I was holding on. Well, I'm going to wear this one day. I know I can't fit it now, but one day I'm going to be able to fit it. Let go and let God. Stuff you have no room for. Necessary ending. Products that you can't handle or produce. Now, I did that cookie for a number of years. And then the time came where I could no longer do it. I was actually without the resources and the team to do what I started out doing. And I had to let go. Now, it may come back, but I had to let go in that season. It's a tough thing to know what to let go of. But if you will learn how to bring the necessary ending, what I've learned, it brings forth such a great beginning. You see, there can be no resurrection until there is a death. And sometimes we have to call death to things. You got to call death to those arguments and all of this chaos and confusion. I don't know about you, but this week I've started seeing a lot of confusion in communication, little things that should have not been blown out of proportion. And the next thing, it leads to chaos and confusion. You got to call death to that so there can be a resurrection of peace. Most of all, most of all, let go and let God. Any products, any strategies, anything that you're doing that God never told you to do. Wow. How could that happen? It could happen to any of us. So I encourage you to walk in the beauty of doing what's in season. How many more black shoes do you need? I look at my closet, there are a lot of black shoes that I could let go. You know what I found out? You can never let go. You can never let go of what you refuse to let go of. See, we can't get enough of what we don't need. As long as we try to fulfill that place in us that only God Himself can fulfill, we'll just keep on keeping on. Hi, see Z. Z, thank you for joining me. Let me just see and take a moment here to see what comments we have. And I thank you for joining me. Michelle, thank you. Trotta, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So it may be time to take inventory. And just because it was something that, we worked it in the past and it was good and it worked, but is it for this season? I'm learning we've got to get lean. We've got to let go of everything but God. And that's why I opened up with that song. I love that song. I Just Want You. And I'm going to go out on that song. And I encourage you to do the same as we start this new week, to take inventory of, maybe you're taking inventory of the closets and the stuff you've accumulated that you just need to let go. And it could bless somebody else. Maybe it's in the relationships, even in the family. You love them. They retain their membership, but now their purpose is a little different in your life. Maybe it's that partner and it was good. Remember, it brought you joy at some point. So you don't throw it away. You show gratitude, but you let it go. So what's bringing you joy now? Keep. And what's not bringing you joy in this season, let it go, but let it go in gratitude, never in anger, never in malice. But yes, thank you. Trotter says we need to travel light this season. Absolutely. We're being deployed, whether you realize it or not. Those members of the kingdom citizens, yes, we've been deployed. And when I'm not a part of the military, but everybody I know that's been a part of the military, when they're deployed, they can only take so much with them. They can't take everything. And so we've been deployed into a season of harvest, into a time where our voice and our purpose is expanding. So get out of your own way. Let go and let God. And I hope you'll share this word. And I hope that you will continue to know that you can have fortune or fame. You can have your name on billboards. You can have riches. But if you can just say, I just want you, God. That's the art of letting go and letting God. Somebody said to me, Dr. Steen, you're getting a bolder word. You know why? Because I refuse to separate what I do with who I am. I say to the Father daily, I want your presence. And when I say I want his presence, there's usually something I have to let go. I hope you'll have a great week this week. And you'll take your loaf of bread and you'll take your little fish or whatever that little thing you have. I hope you'll place it into the hands of Jesus and say, what can you do with this? And then you'll partner. Because God is in you. You'll partner and the greater work shall come through you. God has a big story that he wants to tell through that little thing. Let go. Let God. Somebody is about to be blessed like never before. Just for a moment, I lay down my will. Will you lay down your will? Will you lay down selfish desire? Whatever it takes. On my final note, I want to leave you with this. And turn the music down just a little bit. I love that song. I'm going to leave you with this final note, and I hope you'll share this message. I was thinking about this is also a time where many people are finding themselves lonely. And I can remember when the greatest loneliness in my life came when I was experiencing some of my greatest success, what would look like success, traveling all over the world in mounting platforms and People were having extreme transformational moments and things looked great. And I had just left Germany and I flew home. And when I got home, there was nobody there, nobody to say congratulations, nobody to say great job. And I remember falling on my sofa in tears. And I remember crying out to God saying, I can't do this anymore. This is just too lonely. I can't do it anymore. And I remember in that moment, it was so real that I was resigning and I was accepting the fact that I was done with this lonely kind of existence. And I remember a very real voice spoke to me. I haven't always experienced that, but in this moment, I did. And the voice said this to me: I will allow you to be lonely if you can tell me that I'm not enough. Wow. How do you tell God he's not enough? So today, in those moments when I have a codependency and I think I have to have a thing, when I think I have to have a relationship, when I think I have to have a person, I remember that I could never tell God he was not enough. I couldn't tell him that, and I don't believe you can either. So let go. God never approves codependency. Put it in his hand. Believe. Do what you can with what you've been given and let go and let God do the rest. Get out of your own way. Well, stay tuned because this week I have some important announcements. After a lot of time and prayer, the 8-lesson series of Get Out of Your Own Way will be released this week. So I hope you'll stay tuned for the announcements. It's a self-study, and I'm already hearing miracles all over the world. People have been calling me. We've had over 200 people to go through it already. And I'm just amazed at what God is doing. So I will be posting that, and I hope you'll join me in Get Out of Your Own Way, let go, and let God. Well, thank you so much on this Monday morning. Take care. Have a blessed week. And thank you for joining me, those of you. Thank you for your comments. And I'll talk to you later. Have a blessed week. Bye-bye.